Hi, this is GunNut226 here today with a knife review. Today we're looking at the K-Bar Warthog. It's a folding knife. And let's go over why did I buy this knife. The reason I bought this knife was for my EDC. You can see it's a fairly small blade. It's not super long, but I picked it up for a good price. So we'll go over that in a little bit. But overall, can't really beat it. At least that's my impression since I've been testing it out over the last couple months or so. Let's go to the blade. Blade is made of AUS 8A steel, but it is Teflon coated. It's got that nice little Teflon coating on it, and it's held up pretty well. I've done a little bit of abuse with it. You can see me maybe right here. If we get it to focus, it's coming off maybe a little bit. But overall, it's been doing pretty well. Not sure why it's not. There we go. Take a look at the blade. There's a little bit of crud on it still, just because I'm using it. Right here is where the Teflon finish has come off a little bit. Yeah, you see it right there is a good angle. You can see it pretty good. But overall, the blade's been performing nicely. Haven't resharpened it, and it's still somewhat sharp. Wouldn't call it razor sharp, but it's pretty sharp still. While we're here at the blade, it's a hollow grind. It's not full flat ground, which I kind of prefer, but with the Tanto blade, they don't make them in full flat grind. At least I've never seen one. Not even sure how you do that exactly. But I like the Tanto blade for many reasons. I mean, it's really good for piercing, especially. It seems to perform well as a slicer, opening boxes, preparing food, all the things you would normally do with an EDC knife. Actually, you probably see some. There's probably some fruit or soup, sugar, whatever left on the blade from the last time I used it to prepare something. Anyway, let's look at the blade. Let's look at the grind on it while we're here. If I get the camera to focus. At least the specifications state that it's a 15-degree relief edge on there, which is pretty reasonable. It should be somewhat easy to resharpen once the sharpness goes out, but haven't really had an occasion to do that yet. You can see here on the tip, if it will refocus for me, there may be a little bit of damage here at the extreme end here, or maybe it's just dirty. But we'll figure that out in a little bit here. Anyway, let's moving on. I kind of like the blade length. The blade is 3 inches and 1/16 of an inch long, 3 and 1/16, and it seems to be long enough for most EDC tasks. Could you press it into tactical use if needed? Probably. Maybe we'll cover that maybe a little bit more once we get into the handle, and I talked about some of the issues there. Speed, it opens pretty well. We can see in here, if the camera will focus once again, if you can see down in there, it doesn't have any kind of brass bushings or just plain old nylon bushings. So not super fast deployment, but it's not bad nonetheless. You can see failed deployment. One of the issues that I have here is, I'll talk about it now, I guess, the thumb stud. It's probably not the best thumb stud. It looks like it's fairly has okay, but sometimes it's difficult to find it exactly where your thumb's going to dig into it. And since it's a right hand only opener, that could be a problem for some left-handers too. But as far as lockup strength, up and down, There's not really any movement, and side to side there's no movement, but if there was, we do have that pivot adjustment screw right there, so we could do that if needed. And let's take a look here at the blocking bar. You see there's a bar right there to stop the blade from going up any further. It kind of helps it lock in a little bit, but it is a liner lock, so not bad after all. Let's take a look at the liner. Here we can see the liner. It's partially way into the blade. There's still some room for wear as you go in there. So I anticipate this knife will have a long life in that aspect. Blade centering, you can see. Here it is. It's fairly well centered. It might be, it's biasing one side, but it's not rubbing at all. So that's a good thing. The weight here is it's fairly lightweight. I wouldn't say it's a super lightweight knife like maybe some of the others out there. But hold on, let me get my scale. Sorry about that. Should have that ready. The scale. The verdict is 4.08 ounces. So fairly light. I wouldn't say super light, like maybe for like the Juice, or not the Juice S2, but the SOG Flash 1. I was just using my Juice for something else, so that's why it's kind of sticking in my brain. So it's you could carry 2 SOG Flash 1s for the weight of this guy, but this gives you a little bit more capability, and we'll go into that now. See, we got the handle material here. We got some stainless steel liners, but they are, I don't know if you can see, but they are not lightweighted whatsoever. So that could be contributing to the weight. However, the G10 scales here on the outside are very nice. For the price point that this knife is at, I thought that the G10 would have been maybe a little cheaper. It might have been, it actually might be clad with G10. I'm not really sure in that aspect, but it gives you a fairly good grip in hand. It's very nice. No problems with that whatsoever. It has these channels here. I'm not really sure what they're for. Maybe just for maybe some lightweighting or something. I'm not really sure what it would be. But let's talk about a little bit. One other thing I want to mention. There is some jimping up here on this thumb ramp, and it does help your thumb lock in. That's very nice. Problem is you can't really choke up on it here at the bottom at all. Without, maybe if my fingers were smaller, you could, but you're pretty much stuck to this grip position. But this is a very nice finger choil in here, where the liner lock lies, and your hand locks in pretty well on the blade. So overall, there's some aesthetic jimping back here, but overall, you're not really going to be using that maybe, unless you're doing some really heavy use. Once you squeeze that, it really kind of locks it into your hand. Can't really notice it though when you're squeezing it hard. Maybe a little bit. But you can see the corners are kind of rounded off on this knife. So it has some pretty good ergonomics overall. The clip is one of the problem areas. Now the clip overall, it works very well. It carries pretty deep in the pocket, you can see. Clip comes all the way up. But you can see here, the clip has come loose on me. So, I didn't take these screws out and Loctite them yet, but that is a project that I'm going to be going forward here with pretty soon. I'm going to take these screws out, put some Loctite on them, really crank them down. But once that's done, I don't anticipate any more clip issues. The only other thing is maybe this sticks out a little bit far. Actually did scratch some my car door with this. at one point, and that kind of tweaked me off a little bit. But you know, that happens, I guess. Maybe if they would haven't seen this in any clip designs yet, but if they rubberize the outside of the clip, maybe that would be an improvement for knife manufacturers, because it's not the first time I've rubbed up against something and scratched something with this metal clip hanging out of my pocket. So maybe if they put like a rubber coat over the outside of these clips, that would be an improvement. Might also improve in the wear characteristics. You can see here there's a heavy wear area right around the edge of this, because most clips I think bend down slightly, or aren't as pronounced. Here I have the Rat 1, and you can see the clip on this guy, not quite as pronounced as this guy. So this one, it bends out a little bit more. It's kind of funky. So maybe if I just bent this down, it would improve the performance. But overall, it's a pretty good knife. I've had this knife for a couple months, been carrying it around. I like it a lot. Only thing that I've been having an issue with recently is the pocket clip, and I'm going to Loctite that, and that should solve that problem. And the other thing with the clip is not repositionable, which I prefer tip-up carry, so I'm kind of out of luck with this knife, unless I want to drill and tap holes, which I really don't. I'm not going to waste my time with this price point of knife. And the other thing is the post is only on one side to open the knife, so not the best design, but it's a design. For $12, you can't beat it. I think I got this from Cheaper Than Dirt. It was like $11 or $12, and for the quality that this knife is, I think it's a pretty good quality. Like I said before, a couple issues with the thumb stud, either not extended far enough. There's not another thumb stud on the other side. It's not ambidextrous. But everything else seems to be falling in place for this knife. If you're looking for just a good beater knife, I'd highly recommend this. It's fairly inexpensive. So this is my review of the Warthog Tanto blade. If you have any other questions or comments, please give me a PM. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe.